Everyone knows bingo, it's a staple of the ESL classroom. But do you ever find that it gets repetitive or that you could do more with it? I do. That's why I invented a bunch of different variations to keep it fresh and to challenge students' listening skills. I'm Will from Enchanted ESL, and in this video I'll explain 12 different ways you can adapt bingo to improve learning. First, let's all get on the same page about what bingo looks like in the ESL classroom. Typically we don't play with a big grid like in the normal bingo game, but with a smaller 3x3 grid. Usually students write numbers from 1 to 40 in each square of the grid, and then the teacher calls out random numbers and students check them off. When they've got all 9 numbers, they shout bingo and they win. There's also mini wins for lines and rows. Lots of teachers replace the numbers with vocabulary. You can find lots of printable sheets online that you can give to students or get them to pick their own words. Okay, all very standard, and those bingo games work pretty well. But for more advanced and mature students, those games are a little bit boring and basic. So let's switch things up. First, we'll modify the numbers bingo. Variation number 1, pretty simple, change the range of numbers. If you normally play 1 to 40, change it to 60 to 100. That way you practice numbers at a different level. Any range of about 40 numbers is fine. Variation 2 is to increase the place value. So instead of 1 to 40, you could have 10 to 400 going up in tens, or 100 to 4,000 going up in hundreds. In theory, there's no limit to this. You could have 1 million to 40 million. Variation 3 is a mixture of 1 and 2, that you change the place value, make it higher, but you also change the range. So you could have 600 to 1,000 going up in tens. Alright, variation 4 is a little more complicated. The maths is a little trickier, but anyone 9 to 10 years old can probably handle it. Students fill each square with a 6-digit number, like 549,831 or 924,765. There is a weird rule that they can't use 0 at all, so 603,041 is not a valid number. Now you call out different place value numbers, for example 500,000. In this case our first number, 549,831, can be checked off because it has a 5 at the 100,000s position. The second number cannot be checked off because it has 5 at the units position. If you say 4,000, you can check off the second number, but not the first. Keep track of which numbers you've said so it doesn't get confused. And if you want an added layer, get students to check off each individual place value digit of each number. Then they get a super bingo if all 6 digits of a number are called out. Okay, let's move to some vocab variations of bingo. Typically, teachers give students a sheet with pictures or words on and then call out words from a predefined list. This is fine but can get a bit boring, so let's see what we can do. Bingo variation number 5 needs a little elicitation prep. Pick a category. Get students to call out words in that category and write them on the board. When you've got about 30 to 40 words, get students to pick 9 of those words and write them in their grid. Then you can call them out and keep track of which ones you've said by marking them off on the board. Variation 6, you give students a text. Give them time to read it, then choose 9 words from the text and put them in their bingo grid. Then you call out random words from that text. A good tip is to call out unusual and difficult words so students focus on them instead of the easy language. Variation 7 is similar to 6, but it's a bit more challenging. Instead of a text, you want to get a song or a video and have students listen to it. They should write words they hear in their bingo grid. They may need to listen more than once. Get the lyrics or a transcript of the video and call out random words from it. Variation 8. This time let students see a picture full of interesting details. Google crazy novelty jigsaw for good examples. They should look at the picture and fill their grid with things that they can see, and then you call out things from the picture. Variation 9. Get students to have vocabulary in their grid. You can do this with the elicitation from earlier or just give them vocabulary already. But this time you're not going to say the words, you're going to say a definition. They have to listen carefully to the definition to mark off the correct ones. Finding the video helpful? If so, hit the like button to let me know. It also helps the channel grow, so thanks. The final 3 variations change the format of the game rather than the content. You can apply these changes in formats to all of the variations already mentioned. Variation 10 is to play with a different sized grid. 4x4 or 5x5. You will need to have a larger range of options for this to work, and bear in mind that it will take longer. I would only do this with advanced students who move quite quickly. Variation 11, always a fun one, get a student to call out the words. This practices a bit of speaking and kids especially love doing this. And variation 12 is whole lesson bingo. At the start of the lesson, get students to fill out their grids with some vocabulary from a predetermined list. Then just continue with the class as normal, but throughout the class, say some of the words from the list. ideally in a meaningful context. Students will have to listen super carefully to everything you say so they don't miss a word. Just be wary that when you do say one of these words, there will be a little bit of distraction, some murmuring, some shuffling, some talking, as students try to figure out if they have that word. I would avoid saying the words when you're explaining a really key concept. And if you don't have the opportunity to say enough words in the class for somebody to get bingo, well, carry it on into the next session. Wow, now you can play bingo in loads of cool and exciting ways. Try them out and see what works for you and for your class. And for more great ideas like this, subscribe to the channel and consider signing up to the Enchanted ESL newsletter. There you can get my free ebook of 20 games explained in detail and with variations for different abilities, different ages, online and off. There's loads more things you can get for free by signing up, plus every month I'll send you lesson plans and role plays and more. Head to enchantedesl.com/sign up to get your hands on the goodies now. Link in the description. But for now, I've been Will from Enchanted ESL, wishing you all the joy and success in your teaching. Oh, and go check out this video I made about Battleship. It's adapted for the ESL classroom and it's amazing. See ya!